The thing that's got my attention is just the talk about what we refer to as artificial intelligence. And I have said for many, many years that I believe that the antichrist age, the time of the tribulation, is all going to be driven by computers, and that it will be an economic system. And Scripture is very clear that in these days that you will not be able to participate in anything economic without the proper markings either on your forehead or on your forearm. And Revelation chapter 14 verse 9 talks about this, and chapter 13 of Revelation talks about what would be the number 666, and we're all very familiar with that concept, that number. But the thing is that will we be able to withstand the system? In other words, to say, well, you can't buy, you can't sell. That means you're not going to be able to eat because you're not going to have any food. You're not going to be able to buy gasoline for your automobile because you won't be able to access the gas pumps because you don't have the proper markings. And you say, well, how am I going to live? And it raises the question, is that how many times here in Tallahassee, where I live, we have these hurricanes that come through. And even though we have not had a direct hit here in Tallahassee, we've had them come all around us on both sides. And it'll do damage, and then you'll have a few days when the power will be down, which means you won't be able to go to the gas stations, buy gas, all those things that we're used to. Don't particularly like it, but we've dealt with it here in Tallahassee. We're familiar with it. But it's amazing what 2 or 3 days will be like, even in those type of situations where you don't have any electricity, and how quickly the food disappears on the shelves in the different stores. And imagine a decree comes down from the government that says, unless you have this particular mark on your forehead or on your forearm, you will not be able to engage in the economic system of the day. You won't be able to buy anything. You will not be able to sell. And you're committed to Christ. And you read this in the Revelation. It talks about you don't want to take this mark. You don't want to join in with this antichrist system, which we believe is of the devil. So what do? Well, you say, well, I'm gonna do some gardening. Well, that's great. You know how long it takes to raise a garden? You got to get mighty hungry by the time those vegetables grow big enough to eat. And dare say, most of us are not prepared for this type of a situation. And so it causes you to just think, well, what if I'm put in a situation where I have to choose between my faith and my ability to live, to eat, drive my car? Where would we be? Well, that's something to think about, keeping in mind the scripture that says, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.